Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. You know, I go on tour with Frangela, and now I realize you're the only one that also speaks Frangela, because what is it? If the crick got a holla, then the holla got a crick.
Right.
Yeah, is what they told us last week, and I assume you know what that means, because I don't.
I know what those words. I know a crick is actually a creek, and a holler is actually I know what a holler is, but I don't know what those mean when you put them together. Though, what's the context? Those sayings are very regional. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got some that other people haven't heard and stuff.
Yeah. Are you speaking of things people haven't heard? Did you realize that Joe Biden had a bad debate and he's old?
Yeah, I had gotten that impression somewhere. I think it was from just the general apocalyptic state of all the news coverage and stuff, and every hour since that transpired. But yeah.
Yes, that is exactly the way to describe it. Apocalyptic. Like, oh my God. And how many times can he say, I'm not stepping down? And, you know, if he does, we have a sitting vice president. But it does not stop these news cycles, does it?
No, I don't know. That felt to me, I'm not going to lie, that debate to me felt kind of like, it was like the first time I ever met my wife's like great grandpa. He was like, you know, real old, but he seemed like pretty with it or whatever. And then at the end of the family dinner, he just like calmly pulled out into oncoming traffic and nearly caused an 8-car pileup or whatever. And I was like, oh, damn. Maybe he's not as in good a shape as I thought he was. You know, maybe it's time to take the keys away, because I thought that was all overblown and everything for a long time. A bunch of out of context clips. Watch the State of the Union. Watch him on Conan. You know, whatever. But I don't think you can really overstate how badly he came across in that debate. Having said that, like yesterday, Whoopi Goldberg was getting all kinds of crap, no pun intended, for saying she would vote for Biden even if he's pooping in his pants or whatever. And I get why people were like making fun of that, but I'm like, I would vote for him if he just like transmorphed into poop, you know what I mean? Like Donald Trump. Like, I mean, I would vote if it was a Weekend at Bernie's situation. I'd vote for him over Donald Trump. I wouldn't. I don't really care who knows it. So, yeah.
Meanwhile, speaking of double standards, Noel Castler, among others, has been telling us that Donald Trump famously has pooped his pants for years. Starting on the set of The Apprentice, someone had to change him. He's because of drug, abuse. But okay, that's not important now, Trae. Let's. But it's, this latest thing. So the neurologist had to put out a statement. Dr. Canard was the neurological specialist that examined President Biden for each of his annual physicals. His findings have been made public each time I've released the results of the president's physical. President Biden has not seen a neurologist outside of his annual physical. I mean, and I just keep saying, Trae, these are the same press corps that said, oh, okay, the president's 230 pounds and what did Dr. Ronnie say? And the healthiest president we've ever had. I mean, they didn't, do nearly as much follow up.
I know, but it's just the standard is different. I mean, that's not news to anybody. I mean, that's the thing. It's like they don't care. All the things about Donald Trump poops his pants, his brain sucks too. All this stuff. It's like, but that none of them. They don't care. None of that matters to any of them at all. But like, there's actual standards on the left, I think, or people have, concerns. This stuff.
And Trae, nobody in this room or any honest Democrat said Biden had a good debate. I mean, I think we all acknowledged, that it was, and I think that it's the perfect storm, Trae, of that, not just that he had a bad debate, but that age was already a concern, and that Trump and Project 2025 and this Supreme Court are the alternative. So I get people being terrified, right?
Yeah, it was the debate followed up almost, by over the course of a weekend by Monday, that Supreme Court decision that, gave America kings now effectively, and that all happening like 2 days before July 4th. It was just this perfect storm to make, people on the left be like, well, we better have a good July 4th because this is the last one. This is America's very last birthday. Yeah, it's been just, like I said, an apocalyptic cycle. Sometimes, they say there's like weeks, there's years where, I don't know. Then there's weeks where years happen.
Yes.
What's the first part of it?
This week has lasted a year.
Chinese proverb or something, but I don't know. Anyway, it's been like that lately.
Yeah. We were saying this, though, too, that, it's starting to feel like a hostage demand list of the president. Like he has to do a sit down. He has to do a rally. He has to do this. He didn't do this. I mean, so Biden has done 10 events since the debate. Trump has done none. They're clearly, what did Morning Joe called it? A hermetically sealed Caddyshack.
Right.
And also, they did point out the whole, like, oh, Joe Biden needs to go to sleep at 8. Well, Barack Obama went up at 6 every night. George Bush went up at 6 every night. Like,
I don't. What is the deal?
We do morning radio. You're like, you're better before 4 o'clock? Yeah, us too. Like, oh, he takes naps sometimes? Yes. So do a lot of us. I mean, it's just, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the mainstream media, or traditional media, or whatever, has been, it's been a running joke with them for a while when it comes, some like new accusations will come out against Donald Trump or whatever, and the joke is like, New York Times headline, it's how this is bad for Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Like, everything is always, it's got to be framed as being, bad for Biden and the Biden campaign. I don't know if it's because, a dead heat race is bigger numbers, or if it's still that, Trump is just better for business if you're, in the cable news world, or what it is. But I mean, they've been framing it like that since the very beginning. Like, it's always got to be bad news for Biden, regardless what actually happened.
Yeah. I mean, Trae, we were saying that when, Trump got convicted on 34 felonies, the coverage was more like, oh, how's this going to help him politically? Not should he drop out. There wasn't one piece should he drop out. Right? There's been like $11 billion about Trump.